Hey everybody, I want to welcome you back to Desert Sky Mystic. Today we're going to be doing our August 2022 chakra reading for Leo. Now, the chakra reading format essentially is what we're doing is we're just using the kind of chakras to define our areas. So like the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and so forth, which the cards will kind of define where our energy is at, what we're feeling for the month, and what we can kind of expect. So let me know if you like in the comments below. And then of course if it resonates, like the video as well. We would, that really helps us out. So let's go ahead and get this overhead cams fired up, and we will see what the cards have in store for us today. Okay, our root chakra here, sacral chakra. My hands are making these all kind of bumble around. Solar plexus, heart, throat chakra, third eye, and crown. All right, let's see how we start this off here, Leo. Okay, Seven of Pentacles. Really, I think you're feeling pretty stable at this point in time. What this is, the energy is kind of a reap what you sow, and it looks like that whatever you've been putting effort into here, and this is going to be based around something to do with your basic necessity, living necessity. So I always say like, your security, the money you have coming in, your ability to put food on the table and keep a house over your head. It's something I've been working on for a while and putting some real energy in here to just keep or create that real stable, that real stability for you and your life and perhaps your family if that applies to you. So that's actually a really nice card for this placement. Let's see what kind of supporting card we have coming in. Yeah, I get this was something, somewhat of a journey, something that you felt like you had to do. It was a new journey for you. Maybe it was a move, maybe it was a new job, maybe it was, just a new way of managing your finances. Whatever that was, though, it was very much a new journey, and you were a new journey that you didn't have maybe a lot of experience in. So you had to put some work in to get here, which would make perfect sense why we have this reap what you sow type deal. And it was all about the timing. When this happened, it was something you felt like now's the time. I have to do this. If you know whatever you were working through, whatever shook you in the past, it was just basically saying, and this I'm getting this from the right in this card here. The universe was telling you that now is when you have to act. You have to start putting energy into this. You have to change your ways if you want to get a different result. And again, with the right timing on here, the right in this card really speaks to the idea that if you pick the fruit too soon, it's no good. And if you wait too long, it's obviously be no good. So you have to pick the fruit at the right time if you want it to be good. And I very much get that that was the situation for you here in terms of that you got to a point to where you had to move. If you waited any longer, if you moved too soon, it wouldn't have worked out. If you waited too long, it wouldn't have worked out. Whatever this is you have done for yourself. So that seems to have been the right move for you. So congratulations on that. Let's see what else we have here. So emotionally, you're still feeling kind of stuck about whatever this is. It's something that you're doing to yourself. You got your Eight of Swords here, and as you can see in the mirror, you have this woman who's blindfolded and bound with this string, and these crows that are tormenting her. But outside of the mirror, and the reality is there's nothing happening to this woman. So it's all an internal deal, whether that's anxiety, whether that's stress, whether it's those situations, maybe something in the past that's haunting you that you keep replaying in your head over and over again. But the reality is, all you have to do is get up and walk away from that, really, to break free from that. Now, having said that, I understand for sure that that is always easier said than done. So I'm not saying that it's not a real momentous task for you, but I am saying that there is an element of that being self-imposed, and that when you are ready to do that, you'll be able to break free from that. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, it's really, this is really kind of saying trust yourself, that it is time for you to kind of step away from that, that there's better things beyond the horizon for you, positive things, happy things, things will bring good things into your life and exciting. The kind of the fear, the stick point though, is that this is going to be a leap of faith. And it's almost like you're going to have to jump into the unknown a little bit. But be rest assured, though, that unknown is a very, very happy place for you. So I think it's going to be well worth your while to, even though this is a very scary deal and it may seem impossible, is just to step through, to start put one foot in front of the next, and find that place where you just jump all in, because the end result is going to be a very positive thing for you. And then, within that, you're going to feel so much better. Emotionally, you're going to feel happy. You're not going to have so much torment in your life. This stuff is going to shake away. And it's going to be because when you do break those bonds, you're going to see that things weren't actually like that, that was all in your head. That was your own fear holding you back there. So, again, I know it's scary. I know it's easier said than done, but if you can get that done, you're going to be in a lot better place. Yeah, so here's our solar plexus, and this largely deals with issues of personal power and self-confidence. And what we have here is a devil card, which really ties in to the rest of the reading so far. The devil card is really about self-imprisonment, that, these bonds, you could slip those bonds off very easily. And I mean, I think it's the same message as here, which it makes perfect sense. It's this would be messing with your self-esteem. And again, I don't know what this is for you. Perhaps this is, again, maybe this is something that's happened in the past, and it's something failed, or maybe there's a relationship you blame yourself for, or maybe you screwed something up at work, not really meaning to, or whatever. Maybe you did mean to, I don't know. But whatever the case being, is that whatever that action is, it seems like you're really kind of stuck there. It's a stuck emotion, and you've put these binds on yourself. It's almost like you're punishing yourself to a certain degree, and it's dinged you. You're kind of in a weird spot, and that, of course, would affect your self-esteem as well. But again, a really strong energy of what, so far in this reading, the one thing I do like in terms of the theme is that you got to reap what you sow. You're tormenting yourself, your own bonds. This is all very much showing how much actually control you have in your life. It may not feel like that at this point in time, but these are things that somewhere, even if it's an unconscious level, you're kind of doing to yourself, which is great, because that means that you can undo them yourself as well. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, so the extra cards here, in terms of your self-confidence and everything else, is really calling for you to move forward out of this, to break those chains, to fly high, and look at all the possibilities that you have in front of you, and then perhaps that's the way that you're able to relieve yourself there. And when that happens, you're going to create this new relationship with yourself, and your self-esteem is going to shoot through the roof as well. This could also be calling for, if this is relationship related for you, perhaps this is speaking to the idea of, you shake off this confidence, and you break out of these bonds, that there's all these different possibilities out there for you, that it's going to lead to the relationship or the love that you are looking for as well. And perhaps this perhaps this is a love message overall. And I think for some of you, it will be. I think depending on what if it resonates for you, it doesn't have to be a love message at this point. I think it'll be a love message for some of you, and it'll be something completely different for others. So, I mean, really, this is either about love, the lovers. It's also about choice, and it's also about creating something new with somebody else as well. But it's not revolved around love. I mean, it could be just a new creation that you guys are both passionate about as well. So, but whatever it is, you got to shake off these bonds first so that you can see all the possibilities and get to this point, which seems to me is moving in a very positive direction. Let's take a look at this relationships. Maybe this will give us a little more clarity on what this is. Well, it's definitely calling for you to look at your relationships in a new way with a new perspective. So if this is a relationship thing for you, perhaps this is calling for you to look at a different type of person, in terms of maybe you have a type of person that has over and over and over again failed you and hurt you and put you in a certain position. Well, this may be saying, hey, listen, it's time to work on yourself a little bit and change your perspective and start looking for the type of person that's not going to do this to you. Because one thing is for sure, if you keep bringing in the same type of person, the same type of relationship, you're going to get the same result out of that. So, but overall, it's just speaking to the idea that you need to maybe reevaluate and look at your relationships in a different way, and not just romantic relationships, perhaps your friends, perhaps relationships with your family as well. There's some people here that are not the healthiest for you, and you need to start readjusting the way you think about, like for example, some people, what's the phrase, blood is thicker than water. Well, sometimes our family and sometimes that blood does far more damage and hurt to us than longtime friends would ever do. And that's a sad kind of thing. But if that's a situation for you, well, maybe that's what it's about. Maybe it's about looking at that in a different kind of way. If you're stuck with that idea, but yeah, I know they hurt me, but they're family, so I have to stick with them. No, you don't. It's your life, it's your choice, this is your path, this is your incarnation here, and maybe it's time to sever ties if that is what is called for. But regardless, overall, it's about a new way of looking at the relationships that you are currently in. Let's see. Yeah, I actually get the feeling here too is that relationships that you are in are intense relationships. They are close bonds, and we have the intensity card here, and also the sharing, which I think speaks to the idea that the relationships that you do have are close, and they are important to you, and that you do share a lot with them. So the relationship side is very important. But again, take a look at it from a different angle. And I mean, this is really simplistic, but pros and cons list, mental pros and cons list, or if it helps, write it out, write it out. If you find somebody is hurting you more than they're helping you, if you find somebody is toxic far more than they are healthy for you, well, look at it in a different way. You need to break this cycle of, being so intensely dedicated and loyal to toxic things. You don't have to share everything. You can set your own boundaries up for those people in your life that are not putting you in a good place. So yeah, definitely a new perspective needed here. All right, let's see. Our communications. So, the good thing about this, though, is that it seems like although we have some very kind of self-imposed things that are happening here, it looks like overall, though, the communication, your ability to communicate what makes you happy, what makes you sad, the things that you want, and the things that you don't want, looks like it's very healthy. You're very successful in that in terms of communicating it out to the world. Now, I would say in this particular situation, you've absolutely, taken action steps as well, to move in a certain direction. I think this other stuff is kind of baggage related, and perhaps all of this is happening. Maybe this is far better than where you were a month or 2 months or 3 months ago, and you've done so much work and moved in such a positive direction that these are just the next things you're trying to shed off. Because I do think you're very clear in the way that you're communicating and the way that you're receiving communication. You're seeing, for lack of better words, things very clearly, and you're hearing, like, so in terms of receiving communications, when somebody is saying something that is not healthy, that is toxic, that is nasty, that is jealous, whatever those, you're recognizing for what it is what I mean. And even though they may be hurtful, you understand what's happening. And I think you're processing that as well, in a very healthy way. And then I think that you're also starting to set boundaries, or have been setting boundaries verbally, because again, your communication out is very successful, as indicated by the sun here, and is indicated by out to the universe. This energy that's kind of coming out from this woman here is a very successful communication in those. And I see this energy right now feels like it's almost like to me right now, it seems almost like a shield of protection of some sort. So let's see what the clarifying cards have on this one for you. Yeah, so we have the master card, which is really, as it speaks, you've really kind of mastered this. You're really in a good place here. You're very strong with this. You're doing it in a very effective kind of way. And it's put you at a point that you need to be here. So I would say overall that this ability to communicate and receive communications right now and the protections you have up is very healthy. This chakra is very balanced for you at this point in time. And I think that so on the control side of things, what I actually see, is actually people coming in and trying to control you a little bit with their communications to you. And that's what I was talking about. You have this protection ring up, and you're recognizing for what that is. This is a cautionary card for me in this reading, the way that this is placed out, that you understand what people are trying to do and bring in on you here. And you're just saying, no, I see that for what it is. And you may not necessarily be doing anything drastic about it, but I think you're absolutely communicating back out the idea that, you're not letting that affect you, or it's unwelcome, or whatever that is for you. So yeah, very nice. Very nice. Let's see. Just kind of take a look at how you see this. What kind of energy are we seeing through? What kind of energy are we seeing the world through right now? The world, I think you've actually made a lot of progress from where you were at. You're seeing the world with a whole new perspective. I mean, you do have some successes, although we're still, emotionally and self-conscious, we're still kind of on shaky ground. But I mean, there's some really good work here, on your base, the base foundation of your life right now. There's some great work on recognizing the need to reevaluate the relationships, and that I think this is actually may have already started or happened now that I see the sun, because I was think that this would be the first step in recognizing that before those communications go up, because you have to be able to recognize that to be able to speak to your power, speak your truth. And then that the way you're seeing your world, also, it seems like you're seeing it in a good way. You're seeing positive things happen. And I think through this, that this confidence is going to get stronger, that you're going to shake some of this off. So yeah, a very positive outlook on where you're going. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, you're taking your time with it. You're taking your time with it. You're checking out what's out there in a pond, and it's looking pretty good. I mean, no, you can kind of see that. I mean, we got some rainbow colors here. So I mean, look, and there's, it's almost like this turtle's kind of sparkling here as well. So, I do think that you are taking your time. You are being careful. Perhaps that has to do with some of this communication and some of the ways that you're now seeing things. but you are surveying the land. You're saying, hey, what's out there? Is it healthy? Is it not healthy? Do I want to dip my toes in the water? And it's a slow, healthy approach to whatever it is you're working through. And that's reinforced by the courage card here. And what the courage card really speaks to, the background on the card, just real quickly, is you know, the flower here is actually started out as a seed down here in the dark of the stone wall. You know, it's the moisture down there has kept it alive, but really it wasn't doing a whole bunch of anything. And then this flower had to make a decision on sit here and die in the dark or face my fears and work through the stone wall, not really knowing what's out there, to get to that sunlight so that I can become everything that I'm supposed to be, actually, and really blossom there. So again, the way that you're seeing the world, I think you really like the outlook. It's a positive outlook. You're moving forward. You're doing some really good work with yourself. You're doing it in a very slow, healthy fashion. The future looks bright, and you're pushing through. You have taken those first steps, and you are really going for your potential here. So that's awesome. All right, let's see what people around you are kind of. So that's kind of interesting. The people around you, I think, right now are being a little sneaky. I've got the Seven of Swords here, which, with the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, what it is a guy kind of sneaking in and stealing some swords from an army camp. And that's very much a sense I get here, is that you're kind of surrounded by sneaky people, and that you have to be a little strategic with the way that you're dealing with these people, which makes perfect sense to me, given that this is really, to me, calling for you to evaluate the relationships around you, whatever those relationships are. So, yeah, I think that's perfect with the way that people around you are being, in a way that in the world as well. Another way to look at this is they could be looking at you and thinking that you are being very strategic with your moves, because that's another thing you can speak to. So, I mean, and I would say that it's actually both. I think you have sneaky people around you. And again, just reinforced by some of the other reading, but on the other end, the people that are sneaky or know that there are sneaky people around you are looking at the way that you're maneuvering through all this and seeing how smart you're being about it, how strategic you are being as you kind of work through that murder of crows there. That's what it is. Yeah. Let's see what else we got the cards here. Maybe that can give us a little more clarification. I think actually both those explanations actually apply, because I think it's a little bit of both. Yeah, you're changing. You're evolving. You were one person, and now you are. I mean, if you can see, there's an outline of this figure here on its hands and knees, and as you can see, it's going from, and this is almost like a spiritual journey, because definitely an internal journey, but you're moving from like the earth plane, and as this evolves into more of a spiritual and free, and things are much more open. You're trusting yourself, so this is an evolution of sorts. I'll call it spiritual, but I mean, it just can just be you trusting yourself, which in essence is a spiritual thing. And I think that you are moving from this gray area, this place that you were at, this world that was all kind of meh and ugly and just really had you down and out. And I think you're moving to the next thing, which is far prettier on the other side. You have a lot of positive things. Let me slide this over just a little bit so you can see it better. You have a lot of positive things happening right now. And you're ready. You're ready to move forward and step into the other side, where everything is very nice and very colorful. So yeah, I think this is perfect for you, especially with the way that, the rest of this reading has kind of played out here. So it looks like a very, very interesting month, a very interesting journey for you, Leo. Again, I think this is something that's been going on for a while. We're reading in August, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this is August. If you're watching this video, this isn't necessarily an August reading. I'm reading in August, but if you're here, if you're watching this right now and it's a whole different time, that means you are drawn here for a reason, and this is very much for you. So don't discount this whatsoever just because this isn't the August playing out for you. Again, I'm just reading for August. This is a message for you for when you find it. So hey, listen, if any of this resonated for you, even if it's just a few chakras, take what resonates, leave the rest. Because I mean, there's so many in these chakra readings, there's so many messages. I mean, this can be one full message for one person, or perhaps this is the message that you were drawn to. Perhaps the solar plexus, this was what resonated and you feel very strongly about it, and there's something in there that was meant for you. So that's why I like doing this format, is because it gives people what they need wherever they're at and whatever time they're at as well. But yeah, again, if it resonates for you, please like the video. That helps out a lot. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps us tremendously, and we would love to have you. So thank you once again for joining us, and we will see you next time.